What happens when a narcissist realizes that you refuse to be controlled? By the end of this video, I'm going to give you 7 things that happens when a narcissist realizes that you refuse to be controlled. So stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Rebecca Zung. I am an attorney. I'm also a narcissist negotiation expert, and I've written 2 best-selling books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a step-by-step divorce guide. And I've helped millions of people through this channel and thousands of people through my law practice shift the dynamic against narcissists, and I want to help you too. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you can get notified when I upload brand new videos. Okay, so what happens when a narcissist realizes that you refuse to be controlled? Well, first of all, narcissists need control because it protects their identities and their fragile egos. They are underneath very actually afraid of you. They're actually more afraid of you than you are of them. And I say that all the time. And I think a lot of people don't believe me, but that's true. That all that stuff that they layer on is actually just a show. I often say it's sort of like the Wizard of Oz. You know how the Wizard of Oz built that whole Emerald City and all that stuff? He did all of that because he was hiding that feeble, scared little man that was behind the curtain. That's what the narcissist is. They actually have very, very, very low self-esteem, a very fragile self that they're hiding. And they're manipulating others, and they use tactics such as gaslighting and guilt and shame and all of those things because they're trying to control their outcome, desperately trying to control their circumstances around them because they're actually very, very scared people. People who are sure of themselves, people who are confident, they're not desperate to try to control things. It's only actually very fearful people who are desperate to try to control. So knowing what narcissists are doing to try to control their victims or their targets will actually help you feel more educated, and it'll actually help you understand what's going on, and it will actually help you to be more prepared and anticipate what's going to happen. And that's part of my SLAY methodology, by the way, which is strategy, leverage, anticipate what's going to happen, and then you can focus on your position, and be ready. Okay, so anticipate is the A, and once you understand what's happening, you can anticipate what's going to happen. So understanding it will actually help you. So understand that they are actually very ashamed people. They have a lot of shame. I mean, you think you might have shame. Brene Brown talks about shame. They have more shame than anyone else. I mean, they are shame personified. They're like one big shame donut. So they use control and manipulation as a way to try to keep their kingdom intact. And you notice they build a kingdom around them and they don't really stray from that too much. Okay, so they do know exactly what they're doing, and they are aware in some ways of their toxic behavior. And you know that they're aware because they know how to behave in certain situations. They know how to love bomb you to get you to do what they want in the beginning. They are aware of that. Okay, so what happens when they realize that you refuse to be controlled? We're going to go through 7 things. So number 1 you're going to see that narcissistic rage. I mean, because they have that narcissistic injury, which is that fragile self that they have. And once that scab is picked at, then that narcissistic rage is just beneath that surface, and that will come flying out. And that can come flying out in a couple of different ways. For an overt narcissist, you can see aggressive outbursts. And depending on how overt they are, you can start to see stalking or violence, or even threats of violence, threats of stalking, that sort of thing. For a covert narcissist, they might be a little bit more passive aggressive. They might make themselves into a victim, but that narcissistic rage will start to creep up, and they start to be something more than what you might have seen in the past. The heat will start to turn up. So that is the first thing that you'll see. The next thing that you start to see, and this is, all part of that discard phase, you start to see the birth of the smear campaign. By the way, and I have mentioned this in the past, the birth of the smear campaign can start to happen long before what you start to perceive as the discard phase. Sometimes you see the three main phases of a narcissistic relationship. It's the love bombing, the devaluing, and the discard. And I've often said this before as well. It's not linear. They do go back and forth between these phases. And when you are going to negotiate with the narcissist, you have to understand that even in the negotiation phase, they will still go back and forth between these phases, because they will want to rely on using these phases to see what will potentially work for them. Even with the love bomb, by the way, don't confuse love bombing with true love. But I do want to say, you will see that birth of that smear campaign potentially start happening even before what you perceive the discard phase to be. They start embedding pieces of smearing long before the breakup actually happens. And so they might have started lining up flying monkeys or their army of people by starting to say things against you and about you long before you realize there was even an issue, because they realize, hey, you might discard them eventually, or they may want to discard you eventually. So they start getting people on their side. And so they start saying things about you even long before. And by the way, the flying monkey may not even realize that they're being recruited. And I think that that's an important piece, that the flying monkey may be just being love bombed by that narcissist too. That's something that wasn't necessarily clear to me at the beginning either. They might just be oblivious to the whole situation too. The other thing that I think that is important for you all to understand as well is that these phases are not necessarily just in intimate relationships or romantic relationships. The narcissist uses these tactics and interacts the same way, whether it's a business relationship, a romantic relationship, neighbors, friends, family, whoever it is, they are the same. They interact the same way, regardless of who they are interacting with or the type of relationship that it is. And what I mean, by the way, when I say they start saying things about people long before the discard phase, they don't necessarily even say, oh, that person is a bad person. They might actually even say it in a way where the flying monkey thinks that they're saying something in the spirit of caring. So they might say something like, oh, I'm concerned for so and so because they had too much to drink last night, or I'm concerned for so and so because of how they're behaving, or something like that, where it makes it seem like they're worried about you, but they're really embedding a smear. So it seems like they're a good person. So that's number 2, is the smear campaign. Number 3 is they might just do a disappearing act. They may just ghost you. They may just stop talking to you altogether. So that's number 3. Number 4, I alluded to a little bit in the narcissistic rage piece of it, but it garners its own piece. And that's number 4, and that is stalk you. This is where potentially could get violent. I have seen situations, especially as an attorney, especially what I call the malignant narcissists, who have no care or concern at all about potentially ruining your life. So stalk you, or even file motions or file things against you, where they might just actually say things against you that are completely false, fraudulent. I have actually seen narcissists file things against people that are just absolutely heinous and horrible, accuse people of child molestation or something like that, but stalking you, saying things against you, that sort of thing. So this is where a totally malignant narcissist might just completely try to control the target by just full out doing whatever they want to try to show their target or show their victim that they'll do whatever they need to ruin the other person's life completely. So that is number 4. Number 5 is public humiliation. So this is where the narcissist might just go public with whatever they know about the other person by saying things about them, such as intimate details about the person's sex life, maybe, or intimate details about maybe their gambling habits, or things about them that, should they be made public, it would definitely be very embarrassing for the other person, or could be very damaging for the other person. Certainly things about that other person that the other person would not want other people to know. And what's interesting about this from a narcissistic point of view is sometimes I have seen where it's actually potentially damaging for the narcissist as well. In other words, I have seen, wives, for example, where they will be very hot to get this information out there about where it could potentially ruin the husband, but then that means that they will not get alimony or something that they would have normally gotten, but they don't even care because it'll ruin the spouse. But yet that means that that person will get fired, or that nobody will want to hire that person anymore because it will ruin them in that community, but they don't even care. Like, it will actually hurt them too. It's their own undoing as well. But they don't think it through. They don't think it all the way through when they go through with this whole public humiliation. But that's number 5. Number 6 is the lying and denying. And that is where they just will lie and deny about anything and everything. And that's, something that narcissists just do anyway. But they'll continue to do it, and they'll escalate their lying and denying. And they will do that all the way through, especially when they realize that you refuse to be controlled. The last thing, number 7, is they will bait you and try to trigger you. This is even more so when they realize that you refuse to be controlled, because they will want to try to catch you. They will want to try to get you. They were sort of like, what they say is, how they often say that dealing with a narcissist is like getting arrested. Anything you do or say will be used against you. But they will definitely want to try to do that even more so in these situations, because they want to try to get you. It's not only that they're getting narcissistic supply from it, but they want to use something against you. So definitely you want to go gray rock with this. Do not give them the supply, narcissistic supply, and do not give them anything, because remember, anything you put your hand to is a potential trial exhibit. So just shut that down. I mean, I want you to put that in the comments right now. Shut them down. And by the way, I do have a whole video on YouTube on going gray rock. Definitely check that out. And make sure you put that in the comments. Shut them down. And if you are getting ready to deal with a narcissist, make sure that you grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com. And if you like this video, give it a like, give it a share, drop me a comment. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Feel free to join my free private Facebook group at Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And remember, as always, that today is a great day to start negotiating your best life. Don't do this alone. Never think that you're alone, because you are not. There are literally millions of you guys out there who are dealing with narcissists. I'm here to help you. I'm on a mission here to make sure that all of you guys are seen, heard, and know that you matter. Never give in and never give up. And remember, Nama Slay.